Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt like your legs just weren't ready? Not painful, just weaker than they used to be, a little slower, a little less certain. You tell yourself it's just age. And yes, getting older does change your body. But what if part of that weakness was optional? What if some people in their 70s, even 80s, still walk with strength, still climb stairs with ease? Not because they got lucky, but because they eat in a way that protects their muscles? After 60, your body enters a quiet tug of war. Every day you lose a little bit of muscle. Even if you're healthy, even if you stay active, it's called sarcopenia. And it's one of the biggest reasons older adults feel tired, unsteady, or suddenly find themselves needing help for things they used to do alone. But here's the good news. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need fancy powders or expensive pills. Because one of the most powerful tools against muscle loss is right on your plate. Today, we're going to talk about a group of foods most people overlook. Yellow foods, yes, yellow. The color of energy, of sunlight, and of some of the most muscle-protective nutrients in nature. These foods are simple, affordable, and you might already have them in your kitchen right now, so stay with me until the end, because you're about to discover 3 yellow foods that can help you move with more ease. Support your joints and rebuild the strength you deserve to keep. Let's begin. Do you remember the smell of scrambled eggs on a quiet Sunday morning? Was it your mother flipping them in an old cast iron skillet, or your spouse humming softly while the pan sizzled? Maybe it was you standing at the stove before work, or before church making something simple that always felt like home. For many of us, eggs were one of the first things we ever learned to cook. They were cheap, comforting, reliable. And for a while, they were also misunderstood, because somewhere along the way, people over 60 were told to fear the yolk. Too much cholesterol, they said, bad for your heart, dangerous for your arteries. So we started separating them, throwing out the yellow and eating only the white. But here's the truth that science now confirms. The yolk is not your enemy. In fact, it may be one of your best allies in fighting muscle loss and joint decline as you age. Each whole egg contains about 6 grams of high-quality protein, but it's the yolk that holds the vitamins that matter most. Vitamin D, which helps your body absorb calcium and supports joint function, choline, which fuels your nervous system and supports memory, lutein and zeaxanthin, which protect your eyes, and yes, healthy fats that help calm inflammation from the inside out. Let me introduce you to Leonard. He's 67, a retired paramedic living in the quiet woods of New Hampshire. Strong hands, kind eyes, and for years he thought he was doing the right thing. He ate only egg whites, skipped breakfast more often than not, drank black coffee and kept moving through his day like he always had. But then he started noticing changes. His legs felt tired sooner. He found himself avoiding stairs. His balance wasn't what it used to be. He chalked it up to aging until one day his daughter, a nutritionist fresh out of school, asked him a simple question. "Dad, when was the last time you ate a whole egg?" He laughed, said it had been years, but she didn't laugh with him. She explained that dietary cholesterol from eggs doesn't raise blood cholesterol the way people once believed, that whole eggs, especially with the yolk, are actually protective, and that his muscles, his joints, his energy might be starving for something that costs less than $1 a day. So Leonard made the change, 2 whole eggs each morning, sometimes with spinach, sometimes with avocado, sometimes just scrambled in olive oil with sea salt and pepper. And within 2 weeks, he felt different, more grounded, more awake. His legs didn't ache the way they had. And for the first time in years, he started taking walks without thinking twice. Eggs are not a miracle food, but they are a nearly perfect one. And for seniors, they are simple, affordable, and deeply effective. So if you've been tossing the yolk, if you've been skipping breakfast, or if you've forgotten how powerful a humble egg can be, now is the time to bring it back. Because after 60, your body's not asking for restriction. It's asking for nourishment, not less, but better. And the yolk, that golden center, might be exactly what your joints have been waiting for. Ready to discover the next yellow food that protects your strength? Let's keep going. What if I told you that one of the best foods for your joints, your muscles, even your digestion, is something so common, so quietly present in your home? that you have probably overlooked it for years. Bananas, not just for athletes, not just for smoothies or snacks, but a deeply restorative food for older adults, especially if you are over 60 and starting to feel the slow pull of aging in your legs, your knees, your energy levels. Bananas are soft, gentle on the stomach, and naturally rich in electrolytes that your body begins to crave more as you age, especially potassium. Now, why does potassium matter so much? Because without enough of it, your muscles hold on to tension, your joints stiffen, and your blood pressure can rise quietly in the background. You might feel it as a tightening in your calves, a restless feeling in your legs when you lie down, or those early morning cramps that snap you awake. Many older adults assume it is just circulation or age or even dehydration, and yes, those all play a role. But low potassium is one of the most common silent contributors, and one banana each day can help bring your body back to balance. It also helps reduce the sodium bloat many people get from processed foods, and that means less swelling in your fingers, your ankles, even your face. Bananas also contain prebiotic fiber, the kind your gut bacteria love. And when your gut flora is healthy, you absorb more calcium, more magnesium, and your joints have more of what they need to repair, not just survive. But of course, some people avoid bananas because of the sugar. Here is what you need to know. The sugar in a banana is paired with fiber electrolytes and anti-inflammatory compounds. It does not hit your bloodstream like soda or white bread. In fact, bananas can actually help stabilize blood sugar, especially when paired with a healthy fat or protein, like a tablespoon of almond butter or a few walnuts on the side. Let me tell you about Carolyn. She is 74, a retired librarian from North Carolina, used to skip breakfast, said food did not sit right in the morning, but she struggled with low energy, cramping in her legs, and swelling in her fingers by noon. Her grandson, a high school athlete, told her he eats a banana before every practice. So she tried it too. Now every morning she starts with one banana sliced with cinnamon, sometimes a spoonful of almond butter, and she says it changed her whole morning. Less swelling, better energy, fewer bathroom trips, and her mood feels lighter, more stable, more ready to face the day. This is not about chasing trends. It is about returning to foods your body knows how to use. And bananas, simple as they are, might be the most underrated yellow superfood for aging joints and muscles. So if you are looking for a place to begin, start here. Bananas do not need marketing. They just need a place in your routine. Coming up next, the third yellow food is something you probably overlook, but it can help protect your bones and improve your balance. Let's take a closer look at that now. Now let us talk about something even simpler, something you can find in almost every kitchen, but rarely think of as a tool for muscle and bone strength. Corn, not the popcorn at the movies, not corn syrup hidden in processed snacks, but real corn steam grilled or ground into wholesome cornmeal. Corn is a yellow food that holds quiet power, especially for those of us over 60. Well, because it gives you two things that older bodies desperately need: natural energy and magnesium. Let us start with energy. As you age, your metabolism shifts. You do not burn fuel the way you did at 40, but your muscles, your heart, your brain still need a steady source of clean carbohydrates to function. Corn delivers that without the crash of sugar and without the inflammation of processed flour. Unlike white bread, corn keeps your blood sugar steady, which means fewer energy dips, less brain fog, and more stable movement through the day. But what makes corn special is its magnesium content. Most people do not talk about magnesium, but it is essential for seniors. It helps regulate nerve function, reduces cramps, and keeps your muscles and joints moving fluidly. Without enough magnesium, you might feel tightness in your back, weakness in your grip, or even twitching in your legs at night. Corn, especially in whole form, is one of the gentlest ways to bring magnesium back into your daily rhythm. And because it is gluten-free, it is easier on the digestive system, particularly for older adults with gut sensitivities. Now, here is something you might not know. In parts of Central and South America, corn is treated with lime in a traditional process called nixtamalization. This makes its nutrients more absorbable, including calcium and vitamin B3. That is why traditional corn tortillas, not the processed versions, have been a staple of strong rural diets for generations. Take Manuel, a retired carpenter from El Paso. He is 78, spent his life working with his hands, but started feeling stiffness in his hips and dull pain in his feet each morning. His daughter switched him from white sandwich bread to homemade corn tortillas, two small ones each morning, filled with beans, greens, and a pinch of soft cheese. 6 weeks later, he says he moves easier, his shoes fit better, and he no longer wakes up dreading the first steps. Corn is not just a side dish, it is a foundation. It supports the small muscles that keep you steady, and the larger ones that keep you moving, so do not overlook it. Whether you prefer a warm bowl of grits, a piece of cornbread with lunch, or just a few grilled kernels tossed into your salad, corn can be more than comfort food. It can be your body's quiet ally against stiffness, against fatigue, against the slow erosion of strength that comes with age. And now let us bring everything together with a recap that shows you how these yellow foods work together to protect the life you are building each morning. There is something else worth noticing about these three foods. They do not just fight sarcopenia on paper. They fit into the rhythms of real-life eggs. Take minutes to prepare. They do not require teeth like steak or digestion like heavy supplements. They slip easily into breakfast, soft, warm, comforting bananas. You can eat them standing by the window between medications or when your appetite is slow to wake, and they will still lift your potassium, steady your energy, and support your muscles where they need it most. And corn, whether you boil it on the cob, sprinkle it into a stew, or blend it into a soft porridge, it brings with it more than carbs. It brings lutein for your eyes, fiber for your gut, and subtle strength to the tissues that help you rise from your chair with ease. These are not specialty items, not exotic powders or hard-to-pronounce seeds. They are foods your grandmother probably ate. And yet somewhere along the way, we forgot that simplicity could still be powerful. And if you stay with me, I want to show you one more yellow food. Less talked about, but quietly, transformative for aging muscles and joints. One that might surprise you and could become your secret weapon every morning. It is called turmeric. You might know it as a spice. The yellow dust at the back of your cabinet, used once a year in a soup you barely remember. But inside that powder is something ancient and something incredibly modern. Curcumin, that is the compound that gives turmeric its color, but also its power. Power to reduce inflammation, to ease joint pain, to protect muscle from the slow burn of aging. And while turmeric is not a food you eat by the spoonful, it is a food enhancer, a daily signal to your body that healing is still possible. Mr. Don Alvarez from New Mexico, age 74, tried everything for his knees, creams, braces, even cortisone. But nothing gave him lasting ease until his daughter began sprinkling turmeric into his scrambled eggs, adding it to his rice and mixing it with warm almond milk before bed. He did not expect much. But by the third week, his morning stiffness was cut in half. And by the sixth, he could kneel in his garden without bracing himself on the fence. He says it still feels like magic, but it is not. It is just food. The right food, given a real chance to do its work. So if you are looking for a natural way to fight muscle loss, to loosen stiff joints, and to move through your day with less resistance, turmeric might be your quiet ally. And in a moment, we are going to bring these yellow foods together to show you exactly how to use them, when to eat them, and how they can fit into your life without complication, without overwhelm, just small acts of care that build into something stronger every single day. Before we wrap up, let's pause for a second and just think about this. Yellow foods, who would have thought that something as simple as color could hide so much quiet strength? Not pills, not powders, not impossible diets, just foods your grandmother might have served. Eggs cooked slow on a Sunday morning, corn on the cob at the family table, a warm turmeric broth when the weather turned cold. This isn't about chasing trends, it's about remembering that the tools for healing, for building muscle, for protecting your steps, have always been within reach. Maybe you've walked past these foods 1,000 times in the store, in your fridge, even on your plate, without realizing they were fighting for you, in small ways on the inside, day after day, so maybe tomorrow. When you reach for something quick, something familiar, you'll pause and reach for something golden instead. Because yellow doesn't just mean bright, it means bold, it means healing, and it might just mean the difference between a body that gives in and a body that keeps going. So maybe tomorrow morning when you open your fridge or stand in front of the stove, you'll see these yellow foods a little differently, not just as ingredients, but as allies, each one with its own quiet promise. A way to hold on to your strength a little longer, to walk a little steadier, to rise from a chair without hesitation or ache, because food after 60 is no longer just about hunger. It's about power and preservation. And if you've spent years being told what not to eat, maybe now it's time to lean into what truly helps. Because aging well isn't about giving things up. It's about leaning into the right ones with more intention, more care, and yes, more flavor. So if this video gave you something to think about, something to try in your own kitchen, click like, subscribe for more, and share this with someone who still thinks yellow is just a color, not a secret to better strength and steadier steps.